latest Ducati Panigale V4S has become a very mature track weapon, with improved details, clever brakes, and even more flexible new frame and advanced electronics. It will go even quicker than ever before, but easier to ride for a track novice or regular, as a brain-shredding 213 horsepower superbike. Giving way to more margin of error, even the tires, at less than full grip, consistently handle and are stable. It's an extremely quick motorcycle that will thrill the track riders with deep pockets. On the pavement, it's also easier to live with, even though at everyday speeds, you can only tap into maybe a third of its talents. Riding a fast Ducati is not as fun as playing an authentic computer game, but if most of all you want to go fast with a really smart computerized chauffeur, the new Ducati is an excellent choice. Saying the new Panigale V4S is a handful to ride just because of how much power it makes under brake, gas, and lean angle would be a fabrication, but that's no longer a completely outlandish thing to say either. Ever since the V4 came out in 2018, there's never been a shortage of power. Its MotoGP-derived engine was ridiculously fast and accelerative, but accessing all of it was challenging. It sported a counter-rotating crank and a dual-pulse ignition system. The Panigale V4S saw minor refinements in 2020, but a major step toward civility in terms of rider aids and engine maps arrived in 2022. The 22 bike was suddenly much flatter than its forebears, particularly the unyielding V-twin Panigales. Track day pit lanes began turning red as the Panigale V4 became an overlord of choice, particularly at those flashy multi-day European championships. A number of minor and a couple of major updates have made the 2025 model a more pleasant motorcycle, 2 kilograms lighter, and with more room to swing your leg over courtesy of a larger seat and reshaped tank that's easier to hold onto under braking and cornering. Taller glass is helpful for larger riders. New foot pegs that are lowered by 10 mm increase ground clearance, and the new third-generation Öhlins semi-active suspension is more responsive, controlled, and precise to adjust. The new forged alloy wheels are lighter. The V4's engine has simply been modified to meet Euro 5+ rules while retaining its power. It has actually gained half a horsepower. The engine is a little bit less torquey and a little bit more powerful, which again isn't noticeable on a bike of this level of performance. The first and biggest changes come in the form of the revised frame and double-sided swingarm, both of which are lighter and boast significantly greater lateral flex. There's more feel and grip at maximum lean, and the chassis better tolerates the stickier characteristics of the latest Pirelli tires. Diablo Super Casa V4 SP tires are the standard fitments, but for now, Diablo Superbike Slicks SC1 up front and SC0 down below are in place. Importantly, even when the tires have outlived their usefulness, the new Ducati maintains its calm. Take, for instance, the 2022 model featuring that single-sided swingarm and far stronger frame. It would not have been a bad handler on new tires. But when grip levels fall as they rapidly did in this test, it can become hard to push. When traction does start to go, the new Panigale is as stable and predictable as any other conventional Japanese or European superbike, due to its far gentler initial treatment of its tires. Ducati knows that without the flexibility of the chassis, the handling puzzle of Panigale is not complete. Behind closed doors, they have been testing swing arms and frames with single and double sides and with different stiffness since the last couple of years. Their flexibility proved critical for their success in MotoGP and also proved very helpful for all levels of riders. Electronics are the next powerful tool in the new armory of Ducati. They were at the front of the 22 V4, and they're a long way further on from that. The same solid-state inertial measurement unit and ECU actuate its traction, launch, wheelie, launch and engine braking control as before. Thanks to a new component, the Ducati Vehicle Observer, which is able to predict 70 simulated forces on the ground acting upon the engine, it's all much more precise this time around. As a result, wheelie, parallel or slide around the track, it lets the rider regulate the V4's power safely and reliably. The new braking mechanism on the V4 completes the trio of lap-wasting maneuvers. In fact, The Panigale boasts of all-new Brembo Hyper calipers, just as fierce as before but with better cooling properties for dependability. Now, there are 7 levels of ABS systems, from only the front wheel ABS to full safe road ABS into ABS preventing rear wheel slippage when the rear braking is applied. Adding in some more stability, a new mechanism dubbed Race ECBS engages the rear brake for you when you pull the front lever in. Unlike other similar systems, the electronic trail brake helps hook the Ducati into a turn using the rear brake with just the right amount of force, and then holds it there even after you take your finger off the front. It works absolutely seamlessly, as if MotoGP riders are doing it naturally, and removes one less thing to think about in hot lapping. Over time, Ducati has incrementally softened the Panigale, so it's a long way from the rigid strong cast airbox chassis of the original V-twin. With an amazing 40% reduction in lateral stiffness and fully 730 grams lighter, this aluminium front frame is designed to give a better feel, more grip and stability through the whole cornering phase. DHSS, or not that one, has also replaced the heavy single-sided swing arm that the Bologna engineers originally used. Along with the revised wheel assembly and shorter rear shock, the Ducati hollow section swing arm is double-sided. It possesses 37% less lateral rigidity than its predecessor, and weighs in 3.8 kilograms lighter than before. With substantial lightening of the engine and chassis, the new Euro 5 Plus exhaust plus additional electronics more than compensate for it. Only 2 kilograms less weight than before, but with Ducati's homologate titanium Akrapovic race system with underseat exhaust, you'll gain part of the weight savings back in an estimated 225 horsepower. For 7,776 pounds, all yours. Notably, Ducati managed to retain the V4's power. It makes 0.5 bhp more while making the Euro 5 Plus regulations. With its reprofiled intake and exhaust camshafts, the motor now makes 213 horsepower at 500 revolutions per minute higher. Peak torque is higher at 1,750 revolutions per minute, down 2 pound-feet than previously. The variable length intake trumpet stays longer at low RPM and shorter at high RPM. Weight is cut by 1 kilogram courtesy of the alternator and oil pump borrowed from the Panigale V4R and the gearbox drum of the Superleggera V4. When the temperature in city riding climbs above 75 degrees, the rear cylinder goes dormant. Ducati's done the best they could with the Panigale V4S, and there isn't a feature missing in the book. Better electronic rider aids featuring multiple rider modes, traction, slide, wheelie, engine braking, launch control, and an up-down quickshifter will come as standard. The bike also gets a set of lightweight forged aluminum wheels, Brembo Hyper braking systems, Öhlins semi-active suspension, and tire pressure and temperature monitoring. With an outstanding color TFT display featuring an 8:3 aspect ratio, visuals are fresher and crisper, carrying loads of legible information on road and circuit layouts sure to impress.